This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
This season marks a new beginning. Witness the raw power, iconic sound, and pure speed from the historic Lotus 79. Experience the competition and glory days of early 80s open-wheel action. Watch as drivers wrestle these ground effects cars into submission. Drivers will face off wheel to wheel. For some, it's a chance at redemption. For others, an opportunity to make a statement. All sharing the same goal, to be crowned champion. Who will be victorious tonight? The Lionheart Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker starts now.
Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. The Retro Series comes to Watkins, Glen for round 2 of the 2019 championship campaign. In the season opener at Homestead, despite a record number of rookies in the field, it was 2 veterans who battled for the win. Alex Saunders and Ryan Otis found themselves at the pointy end of the field in the closing stages. Wheel to wheel, they raced for lap on end until, with just 5 laps to go, they touched, and Otis went spinning down towards the apron. The yellow came out, and Saunders got the win. So it is on to round 2 and the Sim Experience Grand Prix at the Glen. And you can see all the simulated Lotus 79 retro racing action from green flag to victory donuts live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing eSport Network. Hello everyone and welcome to the Sim Experience Countdown to Green. Over the next 15 minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to appreciate the Sim Experience Grand Prix at the Glen that will immediately follow as we count down to green. And here to do all of that is yours truly, Bill Soupzon, joined way up to the press box to bring you our Words Eye View by Brian Yosick. Amjad Yaman has director duties, armed with cameras locked and loaded by Dougie Beard. All right, there are 1,005 fewer palm trees at Watkins Glen than at the opening round venue of Homestead. You won't get that kind of cutting-edge track analysis from any other sim race broadcast company, but for those viewers who prefer a more traditional track introduction, let me reintroduce my booth partner, Brian Yosick, to do just that. Brian?
Yeah, the Soup is absolutely correct. There are 1,000 and some odd less amount of palm trees here in upstate New York at the legendary Watkins Glen International Raceway. The format that we are using tonight is the classic boot. You'll notice there is no bus stop down the back stretch. So that's kind of the big difference there. So you really go sailing into the carousel with a whole lot of speed and a whole lot of momentum. So it makes it very, very interesting to get down there. 11 turns, 3.4 miles, 5.47 kilometers for all of my non-American standard units friends. Do we track guide? Yes. Yay, we got a track guide. So, hey, we could keep talking about it, but you know what? Let's just show you what it's like to get around here in the Lotus 79.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman to the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Watkins Glen. Coming down to turn 1, this is an excellent place to pass, but it's also super easy to overshoot. It's downhill as you're braking, so the issue gets compounded even if you're only slightly past your mark. Climbing back up the hill, the draft in the Lotus is going to leave a huge hole in the air. That means you'll see drivers pulling someone in from a long ways back. There's no lifting all the way through these S's, and since this layout skips the bus stop, you don't touch the brakes until the carousel. That means a lot of swapping positions will be taking place down this backstretch. Best to pick your line early and make your intentions clear. For the banked carousel, it's a very fast entry, so the brave drivers will really reap the benefits if they can be consistent. With the high speeds, little incidents will become big ones in a hurry. After that, switch sides quick and set up for the chute. This is a corner where being able to late apex tends to be a better line, but it's tricky to get just right. After that, we come to the lowest part of the circuit at the toe of the boot. This is a spot where you might see drivers try to overtake, but if you can get a better launch off the corner than your opponent, it's very possible to get the spot back. This climb is incredibly steep, so momentum is your friend. And the heel of the boot is another place where passing isn't uncommon, so you'll get a good chance to outbrake your opponent. Watch out for the inside curves, because some of the taller ones will upset the car very badly. By now, we're getting back to the main part of the circuit. The crest and off-camber nature of turn 9 makes it tricky enough, but on-throttle oversteer on turn exit just complicates things further, as Amjad shows here. Indianapolis has some banking, but even with all the downforce of the Lotus, it's not quite flat out. Finally, we hit the last turn, which has the barrier right at the edge of the track. Treat it more like a street course to save the car. Hopefully you've hit all your marks and have now finished a lap around Watkins Glen.
A lap around Watkins Glen. The Countdown to Green is brought to you by Sim Experience, the makers of the AccuForce Pro V2 Complete, the premier professional racing simulation steering system. The key to the AccuForce Pro's incredible realism is the groundbreaking direct drive motor control system, providing a driving experience that, when combined with today's best race simulators, is as close as you can get to driving the real thing. For more information on the entire Sim Experience ecosystem, including the SimVibe software, the 3DOF Stage Series Motion, and GS-5 G-Force Seat, visit www.simexperience.com. Use promo code SIMXLION to get 5% off your SimVibe software. Now, I'm going to give you 100% of the race of the standings here. Now, remember, there's only one race in the book, so this pretty much mirrors the results of the very first round. You can see Saunders up in front, Lewis down there in second, and Zaldo Sage Karam in fourth. You pretty much get the idea. This will fill out a little bit more as the season goes along. We get an idea, and remember, there are some drop races that'll come into play at the midway point. Let's go ahead and look at the team championship, right?
Yep, that's right. We got NLR Sim Racing with the pilots Mark Cohn, Ducana, and Joe Hassert leading the top of the standings there. And like I said, this is only one race in, so a lot of these are going to mirror what you see on the other side, but Raven Black just 7 markers back, Nighthawk Motorsports and Raven Silver. There's a lot of season to go with those drops that's going to kick in and really kind of even things out as we go on. But now we got another little thing here. The Rookie of the Year standings presented by Butt Kicker. As we get the graph. Hey, there we go. So there you see Lewis on top of that. Sage Karam. I know the thought of Sage Karam and rookie in the same sentence doesn't make a whole lot of sense to most of the viewers out there, but he is a rookie in our series here. Ken Hacker there tied for the second spot in the rookie points. Ducana there fourth and Jenkins fifth. And as we go on throughout the year, you're going to see these the rookie standings ebb and flow and change, and until we get all the way down to the end of the year at Auto Club Speedway. That's when all the prizes, that's when all the money, that's when all the fun stuff gets handed out.
You know, the surprise was the Sandman not being more of a factor in that race. George is here today. He's on a twisty circuit, so expect to see a little bit more of him than maybe we might have saw at the Oval, although the Sandman is always good no matter what he races. Considered to be the premier fixed setup racing league for the Lotus 79 on the iRacing service, the Lionheart Retro Series, as well as the IndyCar Series, honors the memory of the late Dan Weldon. GSRC is always picking up new viewers, so with those guys in mind, let's go ahead and talk about the race details today, Brian.
And these series details are brought to you by Minus 273, the premier name in karting gloves. For more information on Minus 273's full line of gloves and apparel, visit minus273.biz. Hey, we got a promo code too, LHRS, for 25% off your orders. Season 3 of the Retro Series, round 2 of 18, with the 2 drops that will be kicking into the factors into the season as we go along. The Lotus 79 with an adjusted fixed setup. Grand total cash and prizes. This is what I was talking about just a minute ago. $7,610.
I am wearing my Minus 273 racing gloves today for this broadcast. I tell you right now, I'm going to be really good on the push to talk button. I got great traction down there. All right. We've got all the business out of the way. Let's turn our attention to qualifying right now. And, well, there he is, Sage Karam at the top of the charts.
That's not a surprise to anybody who paid attention in the All-Star race that we held at the Charlotte Roval. You know, he noticed they set 1-2 up at the front of the gates, and then as soon as they dropped the flag, Sage decided that he wanted to just run away and hide, and no one got anywhere close to him. But here's a pretty sharp road racer you see here. We're on board with Dustin Wardlow, the Sam Maxwell Customs machine, the Candyman, as we like to call him, for Raven Motorsports, going in through the boot right here, making that nice little gentle left-hander. It's kind of fun, really. And you got to drift it out there, bring it this way. This is probably my favorite turn right here in the whole thing. Just because there's a couple different ways to attack it, and if you get it right, you really set up the next corner very, very nicely to try and get a pass done.
As we look at that right there, you know, weather always plays a factor in the way that the race plays out. Let's take a quick look and see what it is up here in New York today, in upstate New York. Well, the ambient temperature not so bad there, Brian, at 81, but I don't know, 111. To me, that seems kind of warm.
That's a bit warm, and the thing that could be worth paying attention to, yeah, the air temp is 81, track temp is 111. We got a nice steady breeze, south facing, 16 miles an hour. The thing that I'm going to be very, very curious of and probably paying attention to is because of iRacing, really are doing the dynamic skies now on top of the dynamic tracks. I've been seeing and testing for next week's IndyCar race, the track temp will swing very wildly. I mean, I'm talking 30 degrees worth of track temp. So it could be interesting if we get some cloud cover. Pay attention to that track temp. See if it drops down. You see GSRC's own Richie Hearn going through the boot right here.
Looking very smooth in the number 70.
Got a little bit of Sebring. He was down there at the 12 hours of Sebring. That's why he wasn't here last week.
Yeah. that's a good trade-off.
That's a valid excuse. I'll buy that for $1.
You're looking at a lot of cross-pollination going on. We're looking here at James Paulson. I got to know him. He raced out of, I believe, first we got to meet him in the Championship Motorsports Series. Over there, we did a championship series going on. We got to meet him there, and then he races a few other things. We saw Lionel Callisto races out of the majors, as long as Richie Hearn races out of there too.
Yeah, and it really is kind of a melting pot. I mean, we're seeing a lot of names that the viewers at home are probably used to seeing, and a couple faces and a couple names, not really faces, through the virtual helmet, but a lot of names that are familiar. So I mean, you did mention a few of them out there, but then you do have series regulars like names coming back like Alex Saunders, Dustin Wardlow. Obviously George Anzaldo, that goes without saying. Big Joe Hassert. So we're getting this very melting pot-ish sort of vibe here this season. So it's very, very interesting to watch, and it's really going to be a good season as we go on down the road here.
Sage Karam still sits at the top of the charts. About, oh boy, he is really almost 0.6 of a second faster than Ryan Otis.
That's licking the stamp and sending it.
It is indeed. Of course, speed has never been the problem with Sage Karam in these iRacing events. It's getting that car to the end. Frank Beezer in the beautiful yellow and blue machine.
This is kind of a striking paint job right there.
It is.
Firefly Racing.
We'll get to know these the team rosters a little bit more as the season goes on.
Big head press. Is that what it said on the nose of that car?
It is indeed. He's been running that for a while.
Is it like that sign at the wall that, there's just a big circle painted on the wall that says put head here? Something like that?
No, it's legitimate. They have some cool stuff there. I went there and it's very interesting. All right. I believe that is done. With that said, let's go ahead and give you the starting grid. Now, we have plenty of time as this is a rolling start. Let's take it a row at a time. Sage Karam on the inside, flanked by Ryan Otis in row 1. Brian?
Row 2 is made up from Alex Saunders and George Sandman.
Is the Candyman and Little Train in row 3. That would be Dustin Wardlow and Lionel Callisto.
Well, rhyming with Dustin is Justin Kirby, and he's in P7 with Dean Mardi Gras Mall to the outside there at 8.
Former real-world IndyCar driver Richie Hearn sits in the number 9 spot. He's going to be inside of James Paulson.
Joshua Gaiman there in the 11th spot. Chad Dalton, he's going to complete that row right there.
In the Lucky Bacon Dozen position, Travis Jagerliner, flanked by Chris Sleepy Lanini in 14th.
JP Winchettle there in the 15th spot with David Clymer to his outside.
17 and 18 is Mark Cohn and Chris Walker.
Paul Jenkins making up the inside of row 10 with Frank Beeser, the outside there. We were just talking about him in that striking blue and yellow paint job.
Hidden Blackjack, it's Ryan Corns. Taft Baldwin sits in the double duck spot.
Another name that should be familiar to GSRC viewers, Taft Baldwin. Eric Mickey, you so fine there in the inside of row 12 with George Anzaldo, series founder and overall great person there in the 24th spot.
Eric Mickey's nickname never gets old for me. Dylan McKenna in 25th, flanked by Eric Block.
Finian Ducana there in row 14 to the inside with outside Big Joe Hasser.
Then in the 29th position, he put in a qualifying time of 1 minute and 40 seconds, 0.2. That's Robert Bluen. Then the rest of these guys did not put in a time. David Altman, and I guess he's going to be next in line there, sitting 30. Well, it's hard to say. What do we have up there? I'll do these since we're looking at Mike Rigney, Ken Hacker, Cody Eldred, and Adam Young back there in 34. 34 names here today.
Been corrected on Finian's pronunciation. It is Dakuna instead of whatever I was saying.
Pace car begins to roll. We do have some onboard cameras today. Start with Dustin Wardlow in the Sam Maxwell Customs onboard camera. Precision and craftsmanship, ensuring the highest quality of sim racing wheels and accessories. SamMaxwell.com. The Sandman, George Sandman, in the Track Racer onboard camera, designing high-end gaming accessories for over a decade. TrackRacer.com. And we ride on.
That's it. Camera provided by nobody.
Look at that beautiful New York sky pushing down on the racetrack here today. Okay, they go up through the S's, and then this long, and then the long back straight, Brian. It is truly straight. It's out of 4 all the way to the carousel. There's no inner loop to worry about today.
No. I mean, especially in these machines, these guys really coming up through there, and if they get a little bit of a toe on the front side, they can really go screaming into the carousel. And it's kind of a hair-raising moment as a driver, because it's one of those moments that you have to make a conscious decision of where you want to brake and where you want to lift. And unfortunately, the points that are the fastest are about 50 feet further than your brain tells you.
Is the carousel a 2 wide possibility?
Oh yeah, you could go 3 if you're well, I mean, brave. Definitely 2 wide. I've made some passes to the outside going through the carousel, because the advantage being up there and this camera angle right there didn't really show it off that good. But from the top side, if you could at least stay side by side with the guy that you're chasing, you can kind of pinch him off a little bit, because the best way to come out of that carousel is bring it all the way to the rumble strips on the left. So if you can pinch him back just a little bit, you might get that run, and then it flips around and you get the preferred entry into the first corner of the boot. So it's kind of a gamesmanship going into those sets of corners there.
Then they go into the boot. The track actually looks like a boot. They go over the top. I like to call it the laces. Now they're going through the toe right now. Now through the sole of the boot. Some of these nicknames have yet to catch on, but give it time. I've been around only a few years, so soon these are going to catch on. One name that has caught on in the boot is the heel. And they'll be coming up to this right-hander here in just a minute.
It's my least favorite corner on the entire track.
Really?
For some reason, this corner always throws me for a loop, and I've never understood why, because it's such a simple right-hander. It shouldn't fight me, and it shouldn't infuriate me as much as it does, but by God, it is my one weakness around this track.
Tell you, I'll race 8 then. You get me through 9, because this is the one right up here. This left end that's kind of off camber. I can never find the apex here. This one, oh man, I'm just bad at it. Then through 10, and then the final 11, which is the right-hander that puts us on the front straight. It'll take us to the 90.
34 virtual Lotus 90 or 79 machines on screen coming into your living room. Soup, you know the famous words here.
They come around. Well, we're gonna give a little trivia to the series here. We're gonna let the chickens fend for themselves right now as they come out of 10. We're gonna try to do a little bit of promotion for the series. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. Round 2 is underway, and it is indeed Sage Caroll leading the way down into the first corner.
Oh, he tried to pinch off Otis right there going into the first corner. Otis is going to be right on that rear wing. This is kind of what I was talking about. As you get up through the S's, Otis is going to be in a great spot to get a toe, and then it's going to depend on what Sage takes. If he's going to go right on the defense early, or if he's going to try and just maybe let the pass happen. Nope, Sage is going to take the defensive line, but then just right behind him, you've got Sandman and Saunders.
Both making the same move. You have Otis making the move to the outside. Sandman makes the move to the outside as well. Saunders fends off. Saunders now in third. Otis fighting up there in front. Karam back up in front.
Otis actually had the lead 3/4 way down that backstretch, but then Sage sent it down to the bottom, and Otis just couldn't hang on the outside.
Ryan actually made the move too early, perhaps. Lesson learned early on. Rounding out your top 5, it's Dustin Wardlow. They are clean so far.
Yeah, absolutely, guys are it's pretty filed out as the start has unfolded. Really, the first battle that I'm seeing, and even that it's really settled out, was between. Oh, it's right behind Lanini, right there. Travis Jagerliner and JP Winchittle, side by side, going into that final corner of the boot.
And then that battle side by side, they get that sorted out. We are still clean. We talked the front half of your top 10. Back half is going to be Kalisto, Kirby, Mole, Paulson, and Richie Hearn. The field works its way through 11. The first lap was clean. Way to go, boys.
I don't even know if anybody so much put a tire off that I could at least find. I didn't see any dirt or anything hanging out. Boy, going into turn 1. There's all sorts of stacking up going back here. It's Winchittle again. And all this is going to do is bring about 3 cars, maybe even 4, right up to his rear wing, coming down the backstretch here.
Yeah, as is so often the case, things are hidden up in the back. Let's look at that battle back there for 15th right now. David Clymer had the move. He gets around.
Chris Walker was looking for some real estate to try and find.
Walker took it in really deep, had to take the wide liner. You see him in the white and blue car there.
That almost worked. It's exactly what I was talking about in the pre-race. You get a little wiggle off of that corner, and that's going to let Jenkins get by. But he tried to send it in there. He tried to send it in there, and then just kind of get down and pinch from the top side and try to stall off the run.
Up front, they're pretty much well behaved. Right now, we can stay back here. This is where the excitement is. This is where I'm tingling a little bit. Look behind him. This is Taft Baldwin side by side with Eric Mickey. He gets that sorted out. Oh, my goodness, back here.
Who was that making a pass? That was Mark Coe on Chris Walker. Walker had that great run going into the boot and then coming out of the boot. It's just falling all apart for him. He's got to regroup and try and get it back in order there.
All right, that settles down a little bit as they're finally single file. Up in front, Sage Karam has opened up a 1.5-second lead over Ryan Otis. Running away from Ryan Otis, I don't know if those words have ever come out of my mouth in that particular order. Alex Saunders in third, George Sandman in fourth, Dustin Wardlow in fifth. Good battle back for sixth. Here he comes. This is Justin Kirby going to the inside of Lionel Kalisto. Nope.
They're going to tuck back in line. Didn't quite have enough momentum to get out there. Oh, hey, there you go. Poked the nose right back out there and pokes the nose out for try to get on the inside there of Kalisto. But Kalisto was able to ride that momentum train and get going away.
First thing that becomes obvious to me as we ride on board with Kalisto is how long that draft is down that back straight. We saw it's almost like they're racing at the ring where you can make the pass and then get passed again. My gosh.
I mean, we saw it right on the outset of the race. You know, Otis made that pass coming basically right off of the backstretch and then going into turn 3 or going down into the carousel. Sage was able to make that run right back on the inside of him.
Oh, Eric Mickey having some issues as he's dropping a few spots. I think he got the car up. Oh, do you know what happened? He got the car on the curbing. Got really slow. I don't know if he hit the wall, but boy, he lost a lot of momentum.
On replay here for Eric. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's one way to take that corner.
So let's talk. Per 79, do they get along, or are they big here at the Glen?
They can. The bus stop was really the biggest issue, when it comes to the curbing here. And now you've eliminated that. So really, I would probably say the only other spot to really watch the curbing is on the exit of the boot as they come back up, basically down to the traditional version of Watkins Glen that you've probably seen a lot, on the NASCAR side of things from the telecast and stuff like that. But really, this car can handle a lot of what you throw at it. We're going on board the suspension cam here for Gaiman, looking up the rear wing of Richie Hearn.
And he's going to lose. He's going to lose a spot now. Looking on Hearn, this is Chad Dalton's going to get to the inside of him. You can't see him. He's right to the driver's left there. And now he has to back out. There he sets back out. That yellow car up in front is Richie Hearn running in 10th position. While Brian was talking, you saw Gaiman try to make a pass down in there earlier. Could not get that done. Lost all of his momentum. Now Dalton's right behind him as they battle for 11th.
Yeah, and that's the thing, especially with as close quarters as we get around this track. Because really, Watkins Glen, if you take the boot out of the equation, it's not one of the more courses out there on iRacing. It really is not. It races a lot like a speedway, in all honesty. So, with as close as the field can get, yeah, you make that, you have that wiggle, you lose that momentum, and all that's going to do is just bring everybody right back up to you. Oh, and Hearn getting on the inside of Paulson. That didn't quite work out. He got to fall back in line. So there's what I was talking about. He makes that mistake, and who's that climbing up the backside?
Gaiman.
Gaiman.
Yeah.
So Richie trying to get to the outside, but I guarantee he's going to stall out, and now Gaiman is going to be forced with a decision to have to make.
Yeah, Richie's blinking a little bit. He gets around the red, white, and blue car of Paulson. He's going to bring Gaiman with him there, I think. Let's see how this sorts out. Joshua going to have to keep the momentum.
Yep, there you go. Keep that momentum up, because now as it switches back, he's going to be on that preferred position. And I think Paulson just said, "Yeah, you know what? You can take it. It's still early."
Okay, we're working lap number 5. Let's go ahead and see how many laps we are actually going as we look at our race analysis sponsored by Plasma Tracks. 37 is on the list here of how many we're going to have to do. Max fuel stint of 20, and I pushed that to the max. I don't think they're going to get more than 20. Then you see the incident points down there. 25 gets you DQ'd. So, one stop only, I guess, is how this is going to play out.
Most road course races last season in the Lotus, it was one stop. You pretty much run it to halfway, plus a lap or two. You come on onto the pits and game over.
Up front, no real difference. Karam, Otis, Saunders, Sandman, Wardle. The only thing that changes is the intervals between them. It all continues to expand. Let's drop in on 5th position right now, because the Candyman and Little Train, a couple nicknames going at it here. Dustin Wardlow and Lionel Kalisto.
Kalisto is going to get a good draft. I think the problem might be a little bit too far back to get that run going. I mean, I'm probably, as soon as I'm saying that, he's going to prove me wrong, because he's going to try and time it perfectly.
Yeah.
There you go. Slide right out and then get that inside lane. And now the other thing I'm noticing too, the track is pretty much shaded all the way around it because of the dynamic sky. So we talked about the track temp at the start of the race being 111, already down to 107. Oh, and there goes Kalisto out into the wall.
He came off the rails. Boy, you talked about the track temperature going down. Maybe you just thought there was a little more grip out there than there actually was.
That's possible. Is he riding, riding shotgun?
Watch, he drove into the sun. Maybe that's what it was. You can see him drive out from underneath the clouds into the sunshine, and maybe that's what caught him by surprise.
Yeah, well, and where he was going with that corner, when you're side by side there, you can't attack it the same way that you do when you kind of have the corner to yourself. So I think what kind of happened was he got in there side by side with Dustin. A little bit of fog of war took over, and I could push it just this little further. And Watkins Glen said that, nope, sorry, son.
So we have our first real exit from the race, although I see that Dylan McKenna is not racing anymore. Maybe a few more that are not out there.
Yeah, McKenna's the only one I saw that disconnected. Kalisto's on pit road.
And, I rode him off too soon. He limped it around, so he'll come in. No fast repairs, but see what his pit crew can do for him.
Fixed. I mean, still, he's not making it to the end from there. Yeah, who knows? I've been surprised once or twice.
Let's drop in on our driver in 20th position. He is our hard charger. I'm talking about Finian Dacuna. Well, maybe he's not our hard charger. Yeah, I think he is. Up 7 spots. I think that'll do it here. Started in 27th, racing now in 20th.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Coming up on the back of Frank Beezer. You know, it's funny, just to go back a little bit and talk about the pass we saw Kalisto try to make on Wardlow, where it almost felt like he waited and he didn't want to get that pass done too early down into the carousel.
I think if he could have jumped out and got it a little sooner, maybe.
Yeah.
But Eric Mickey also on pit road too, with a extended stop, getting some damage fixed. It looks like.
My guess is that's probably when he took his little excursion into the grass and maybe got a piece of the wall there on his left side tires. Nice battle though. Look at that little parade going on in those cars.
It's James Paulson leading that. Who else is tucked up in that train there?
We've got Paulson and Gaiman back there, Dalton, Clymer, Lamini.
That's a pretty good
back in 14th.
Here.
Yeah, Jägerliner. Yeah, it's a good one. And honestly, they're a little more frisky than the guys up front right now. Let's watch David Clymer in 12th. I think he's going to try to climb up a position here as he's working on the back of Chad Dalton.
This is kind of that struggle. Here we go. We're looking over the left shoulder. Just trying to time the run right. Going out to the outside. He got it done.
Gets it done.
Good way to do it. No, didn't have to fight off any charges going into the corner. Now, if you can string a couple together, you know, before that next longer straight, you can kind of pull off and get yourself a little breathing room there from the guy on behind you as he makes a mistake and has a bobble coming off of the corner. Here he came back under fire from Dalton again.
Was that the same corner that got Kalisto? Maybe one later. Yeah.
Oh, Clymer, the rear end of that Lotus is dancing all over the place, and that's really letting Dalton stay very, very close. I think Clymer had to take a defensive line into that corner because then he gets to back out and try and fend off the advances that Dalton is making.
Good racing going on as they fight for 11th. Clymer, Dalton, Lanini back there watching the whole thing. Couple of veterans, Lanini and Jägerliner back there in 13th and 14th, just watching on. Plenty of race to go.
Give them time. Give them time. They'll hang out by the end of this thing. They'll be here.
Oh, Lanini is notorious for just picking his way through the field. Don't need to go there. I'll just report Karam up by 2.7 seconds on Otis.
That last time, the Otis was faster by 10th.
Otis just needs to stay close enough to keep the pressure on Karam. Make him honest.
Exactly. You got to stay close enough that he knows that he's not getting away from you. And at the same time, be in a spot to maybe be able to capitalize on a potential mistake or anything like that.
Honestly, no real battles in the first 8 positions. I love this camera there. You see him coming at you. Let's check in on 9th. This is Paulson and Gaiman. Gaiman actually has worked his way up through the field here, through those guys. There's only one position, but he's really been in a lot of traffic all race long. Yeah, right behind James Paulson right now.
Pennsylvania driver has really been kind of chipping away at it. You know, he started 11th up to 10th. David Clymer 16th to 11th right behind them as well. Another little hard charger fact.
Gonna jump you around a little bit. How about going to 23rd real quick? This is Eric Block in a battle with Mike Rigney. Rigney is an exciting driver, a rookie. We saw him do really well in the All-Star race. Battle for 23rd between these two guys. Oh, I'm going to try colors. What I got? Blue and yellow for Block and orange and black for Rigney. Okay.
Nope. I got a green car for Eric Block. And then brown and
why do I even try anymore? Yeah,
that's all right.
My 5-year-old niece came up to me after watching one of these broadcasts and said, "Uncle Soup, I'm sorry you never learned your colors." Felt like she was going to teach them to me.
Good battle starting to kind of shape up there with Sandman and Saunders. A little bit last couple laps. Sandman. I'm combining their names now.
Okay.
Goodness gracious. The track racer cam looking over the left shoulder of Sandman.
He is
chipping
coming
away just a little bit.
Yeah, George is coming back in fourth position. That interval, 0.8 of a second. So mark that down on your clipboards. But it'll be interesting to figure out if it's whether Sanders is coming or Saunders is slowing down. Now, boy, he's about 4 seconds behind Otis right now.
Sandman had a very aggressive corner entry there and caught basically the end of the rumble strips there. And he cost himself maybe a little bit of time working up through the S's. There's battle back there, or is there a battle? Oh, it's Kalisto, the wounded vehicle.
Just wanted to report that Lionel came out, though. He's going to limp it around in 31st spot.
2 laps down, unfortunately, but...
Well, he has a lot of respect for this racetrack, and that Watkins Glen might just come out and slap a few of these drivers. He's able to vulture a few spots before this is over.
Hey, you got to get that going.
Well, he's not just racing for himself. The team championship is a big factor here, and any points you can score, more points for your team. Looking at Lanini in this battle. That's Jägerliner behind him. Now, remember I talked about Jägerliner and Lanini that were right behind Clymer and Dalton. Well, those guys have left those 2 veterans behind.
They kind of checked out a little bit in front of Lanini. Ooh, Lanini getting a little slideways there coming out of the boot, which is going to let Jägerliner get right back to him. Look at just back behind him. Mark Cohn and JP Winchittle. That was almost a moment there as Winchittle. God, the back of that car just dancing all over the place.
JP really working on the Watchman back there. He has a good run here, but I don't know if he's having much track. Oh, I think he's going to take a shot at it. Looks to the inside, and I think he's going to get this done.
Oh, no! Got
and
too much of the curb, and that sent Mark Cohn all the way out to the fence. That's unfortunate. Golly. The Watchman just caught off guard there by that move.
Yeah, Cohn gave him room, but yeah, this... maybe when Chittle got up on the curves, the car just could not keep that tight inside line. They get together.
That's unfortunate.
It is indeed.
Big time virtual sim racing.
How about our director? What a great camera work there. Oh my gosh.
The one and only Amjad. That's why he gets paid the big bucks.
Sometimes I just shake my head with some of the shots that he's able to give us. That was outstanding. Well, we have our first big incident there. Luckily for us, Mark Cohn is not our spotlighted driver today.
No, let's get that out of the way before we
you read
any more hex on anybody.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do our spotlighted driver right now before we run out of luck. And that would be a man racing in second. That's Ryan Otis. 21 career starts, 14 of them have been inside the top 10. He's got a couple wins, 6 poles. He opened this series back in season number 1 when they opened up at Homestead. And his first win, take a guess where it was, Brian?
Nürburgring.
Watkins Glen. So he's looking to get another one.
Trying to add 2. I mean,
Yeah.
Martinsville has grandfather clocks, and the other tracks have other things. Watkins Glen really doesn't have anything. They have that lodge there very close to the speedway that a lot of the F1 drivers went to way back in the day, and NASCAR and IndyCar. Basically, anybody that's ever raced there has probably gotten drunk at this lodge. And if the walls could talk, the stories that it could tell. If you could imagine partying with James Hunt, Niki Lauda, those type of guys.
How about this battle going on? Our series organizers is back for 20th position. Taft, Baldwin, and George Anzaldo's going to have to check up. And boy, he almost got into the gearbox of Baldwin. He's going to lose all of his momentum. Now he falls maybe victim to Mike Rigney. I love Mike Rigney as a driver. Now you're looking at Baldwin. That right behind him is Anzaldo, and there's Rigney, who almost gets in the back of him.
Yeah, George got he got caught up in that corner, which I told you at the start. It's not my favorite corner around here. But it's really easy to get caught out, and now that's just going to bring, and then even if you look just back behind Rigney, Block and Corns are probably going to get drafted up in there as well.
Yeah, this has allowed Baldwin to drive away, Anzaldo getting loose, and now Anzaldo really is under attack here.
Hang on to it, Georgie. Hang on to it.
Rigney's going to gobble him up, I think, coming into the corner number 1, into the 90. Look at the rookie back out of it and not force the issue. Whoa. Well, relatively speaking.
That was that was tighter in that corner than my belt line after leaving Giordano's Pizza there on Navy Pier after hanging out with George and all them guys. Yeah.
It's a sponsor. Hey, look at this. Ryan Horns in the back. Oh, we're going to have 2 passes simultaneously. Horns looking to the inside. And there's Rigney going to the inside of Anzaldo. Horns says, not too much for me to worry about. He backs out. Rigney trying to finish the job, and I think he does, but the momentum now is going to go to Anzaldo as Rigney gets a little bit loose. Careful, boys. They work around this corner. They get that done, and Rigney finally be able to
he was able to. He was really able to carry that momentum around the corner and keep it as straight as he could off of the corner. And really just bring that out there. Looking for a little note there from the series admin. The incident that caught up with Mark Cohn was ruled a netcode incident. Yeah, I guess maybe we didn't see. What's that?
Good news for him, I guess.
Yeah, that worked, So, still, I mean, netcode doesn't make you feel better. You're still wrecked. It's just now you're wrecked and you're probably a little angrier because it was netcode.
I bumped into a lady at the supermarket the other day. I looked at her and said, netcode. What are you talking about? Honestly, she was blocking the aisle. She was standing there right in front of like the eyeglass, those little eyeglass carousels. Bumped her right into that. Oh, let's go up to, let's look at Win Schittle here and Chris Walker. They almost get together. Walker's going to lose a lot of momentum. We'll take a look at this. I think Chris kind of did a Spartacus here and saved himself so not to get into the back.
Sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. Whoo, good.
I think you might have got a little bit of him. Right on board with Walker.
He's pulling the draft. He's getting, the revs are getting elevated.
That was some awfully quick closing speed on that one, though. He did get there awfully fast.
It is, and I think it was probably a combination. You get that good draft run, and you get sucked up right to the rear, the rear wing. God, words are hard, Brian. Oh, we're going to go up to... Oh, Anzaldo's having another problem. It's right at the exit of the boot suit. That's your least favorite place around.
A little help from Eric Block, I believe. Block kind of threw a block there, and that's clipping.
Ooh.
Right on board with Eric.
Oh, yep. All right.
How cavalier have we got here at the Global Sim Racing channel as we come back live now? We have a real-world IndyCar driver in this race, and we've given him, what, probably 20 seconds of screen time, if that's Sage Karam out in front. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're unfamiliar with this, the sport of motorsports, why are you watching us, first of all? But this young man is going to be racing in the Indy 500, the real life and death, actual Indianapolis 500 in May. Here he is racing with us.
Ryan Bold Racing?
Yep.
So, is that what I remember seeing? Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, and a very good guy to talk to on the league Discord as well. It doesn't, he doesn't hold that, well, I'm famous card and everybody about me. He's actually a very personable guy. It's been very nice having him around, and I fully expect for him to kick my teeth in next week at this same track in the IndyCar.
If we mail him a GSRC sticker, do you think he can slap it on his IndyCar? That's probably not going to work.
There's only one way to find out.
Those 2 inches probably a pricey piece of real estate. Look at this battle here from Kirby. Our best battle up front. Kirby and Richie Hearn and Dean Mole. Mardi Gras put it in the wall last time we saw him. Loved that paint scheme. See him back.
Yeah, the fun story about that. He pulled, I was talking to him about the paint scheme after I dubbed him the nickname Mardi Gras Mall, and he said his daughter painted that paint scheme, essentially. He pulled the template up, and his daughter kind of drew the designs on it, and he said, all right, well, good enough. And that's not the first one that she's done, I believe.
Well, God bless her, because this colorblind commentator, I just pick a color and say fuchsia. I know it's in there somewhere. Mall racing in 8th. Richie Hearn in 7th. Justin Kirby in 6th. 20 laps to go. 18 in the books. We're in the window now. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, the windows. That's the outer edge of the window, but David Clymer's going to try and figure that out for us. Definitely next time by the window's open to make it. I think this is. I mean, did he steal your notebook, Soup?
Well, what is interesting is he's not. He listened to me about coming in, but he didn't listen to me about taking tires. He's going to take tires.
Yeah,
I've learned from a man who wins a lot, Alex Saunders, just no reason to do it.
Oh,
I'm here. Yeah.
66, getting a drive-through penalty for avoidable contact. That probably stems back to the Anzaldo incident.
Yeah, that's Aaron Block.
Yeah, and I don't know what's worse, Soup, but last year I drove most of all but 3 races really of the season. No one told me really about keeping the damn tires on it. Nobody let me in on that secret until like Auto Club. And they're like, yeah, you've been changing tires? I'm like, yeah. So if you ever wondered why I never did good, it's because of that.
Well, Adam Young, yeah, look at this. Hearn is in this battle here.
A lot of pit stops happening. Dustin Wardlow, Justin Kirby. Side by side into one, though, between Richie Hearn and Mardi Gras Mall. Oh, and Dean gets a good run from the outside. They're going to be side by side going up through the S's, give the advantage to the... No problems! Oh, no! Richie just got out of line and I think that's where it all went wrong. This is on an oval. This is the part that we would say, put it out.
That one hurt.
I winced in the chair. I winced just a little bit. Because he caught the edge of that apron and it was just Wiggle City from there.
Right on board. I know Dean. Richie feels bad about that when he's racing hard and he made a mistake.
Poor Dean. I mean, I don't know if Dean has 1 or 3 monitors, but you go up into that corner and all of a sudden everything's fine and then everything's not fine.
I'll say this. I've raced enough sim races to know those are a lot easier to swallow than what happened to, I don't want to put the the spotlight on block, but to get punted like Anzaldo did. You're racing hard, a guy makes a mistake on the inside of you.
Yeah.
It happens.
It does. That's big time virtual auto racing right there. Sage Karam on pit road, as well as Ryan Oates, Alex Saunders, George Sandman. So right now, Wardlow, Dean Mall, unfortunately. James Paulson yet to pit. Dalton, Lanini, Jenkins, they might be in this time. Paulson's coming around the entrance. Oh, what is going on with Otis?
Seeing here, who's going to be out for? Did Otis miss his stall? Yep. Now look at this. Look who's coming out first.
Saunders got the advantage. What happened to Otis on pit road? Oh, he missed his stall entirely.
Otis misses his stall.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what happened. Or, no, what I think what it wasn't a miss. I guarantee you he was too far forward and then had to get it backed up, and then he was too far left, too far right. I'll bet you a shiny nickel that's what happened.
Gonna take a look at a little parallel parking job here from Otis as he comes in. And he's looking for his box. This should be simple enough. I found it. I'm there. Nope. Apparently I'm not there.
Yep. Had to back it up. Oh, geez.
And that's all it took for Alex Saunders to jump him.
Now, Saunders jumped him, but can he stay in front of him? You're not going to find many arguments that Otis was probably faster throughout that first part of the run. Let's see, now that these guys, now that they got the right fuel and the tires are finally warmed up halfway into a race, let's see how that holds on. Maybe Saunders was holding back a little bit. Now that he's in front, he doesn't have to do that chase. He can kind of set his own pace and try and get away.
We talked about it on the ovals, but let's talk about aero wash on a road course with these guys. Since there's so much downforce on these, my guess would be it's not as bad as one would think. Oh, Kirby's had an issue.
Oh, no. Going on with Justin Kirby.
Well, he did it by himself.
Oh, coming out of the boot. Sent it just a little too far wide, and then went to correct it. That guardrail on the right-hand side was just waiting.
And that's why, along with some of the other incidents that we saw, Lionel Kalisto was out there putting in laps.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Kalisto, he's past Cone now. We know he's going to probably jump Richie Hearn.
Right?
Maul, maybe? Yeah.
Get Maul, and then the one that we just saw there from Kirby. Yeah. So that's why you're doing it.
Points exactly. For your team. Run a couple more points. Thankfully, it's not the old F1 style where they paid out points to 10th. Or I guess it's not like F1 where they pay out points only to 10th, and then that's it.
No. We want to see that pass for 24th mean something. All right, so our battle now that's going to be interesting is Alex Saunders, who won the opening round, whether he's going to be able to hold off Ryan Otis.
And lap time-wise, he's running more than capable of doing it.
Yeah.
But you never know. Don't count Otis out just yet.
The rest of the guys all came out pretty much in the order they went in. Sandman is in 4th. The Candyman, Dustin Wardlow, in 5th. That's where he's been racing the entire event. Director, let's jump back and look at James Paul. Well, we had an onboard camera. That was not. Do we have an onboard camera there? Maybe I can get a... Let's go ahead and talk about the onboard camera guy here, our sponsor, Sam Maxwell. For nearly a decade, Sam Maxwell Customs have taken pride in customizing racing wheels for the sim racing enthusiast. Each order is built with precision and craftsmanship, ensuring the highest quality in sim racing wheels and accessories. Wouldn't you want the best? Get yours today at sammaxwellcustoms.com. as he worked his way using his Sam Maxwell custom wheel to get around some lap traffic. I'm telling you, Brian, if you don't know where to shop for sim racing accessories, you just watch one of these broadcasts. We'll steer you somewhere.
Exactly. Well, yeah, plasma tracks, race track. I mean, Sam Maxwell Customs, Sim Experience. We got them all.
God, get you set up in a seat with a racing wheel, some gloves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We got the gloves. We got the wheel.
The artwork right next to you there. Yeah.
We got this all sorted out. We need to figure out a way to hustle this out now.
I'm thinking about ordering some plasma tracks when I commentate, so I'll have like a track map right hanging on the wall, so I can just look up at my artwork. Look at this battle going on. This is Dakuna.
Good idea. Dakuna there getting out of the boot, trying to see this work could get interesting because he might be able to get up there and get closer to the rear wing of Jenkins, and then maybe use that to run up the S's to try and draw a little closer, and then kind of make your move there into the bus stop and into the carousel.
Jenkins is up 7 spots. Very impressive. They just talk about Finian Dakuna, who's up 14. Woo.
That's a pretty good run for Finian.
He's either a very good racer or a really bad qualifier.
Bright little column A, little column B sort of thing.
Guy needs food. We'll leave this one. This is a tight battle. We've got to look at P2 here because this one is serious. Otis looking on Saunders.
Otis 35.9 to a 36.2 from Saunders. So from a stopwatch standpoint, he is gaining just a little bit. Maybe not this lap, but back there where he's at, that separation of probably what would you call that, 7 car lengths or so?
Yep.
Probably, you start to feel a little bit of the pull there. So you try and close the gap a little bit going here this go round, mitigate that, and then really carry it around the front stretch and get that big run up the S's.
Closing in. He's got 14 laps to get this done.
Racer mentality usually doesn't think about that thing out. I've got 13 laps to make the pass, and I got 1 lap to get away.
Interval 0.7 of a second between Saunders and Otis. Sage Karam, if it wasn't for his real-world racing obligations, I would think he'd probably be the favorite to win the championship. Not sure how much of these races he'll actually get to race with us. There are some drop races.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that the Indy 500 was his only actual IndyCar race. I know he was down there. He was in St. Petersburg, for the actual IndyCar race. So I don't know. Maybe the travel plans will keep him away a little bit, but yeah, he got 2 drops to play
I
with.
expect after that IndyCar performance, he's going to get some. Phone's going to ring a little bit because I'm going to be pulling for him.
Yeah, I mean, how often do you get to say that you talk to an IndyCar driver?
Look at this going on. He's coming.
Called it. You get that run down the front stretch and up the S's, and here we go. Going into the carousel, Otis got the draft, going to pull out just a little bit, maybe decide, get it, and then sends it into the corner. Woo, Saunders from the outside sends it in just a little deeper, riding that momentum, coming off of the corner, down into the next one, and he's got Otis kind of right where he wants him, just kind of hanging back there. But here comes Otis again off of that corner.
I was surprised to see Saunders not take a defensive line. He just kept it out there and then's got some good momentum, as if he was happy to keep the momentum around the outside of the carousel. This is fun. Let's watch these 2 guys battle it out.
Well, I think if you had that momentum going, the draft, it would kind of balance out because the draft is going to catch you back up probably halfway down the back stretch or down the straightaway there. But if you can ride that momentum off there, especially with the fact that these are lower horsepower machines versus like the Indy cars that we're going to be seeing next week, You're able to really ride that momentum and keep the revs up and get that run going. Probably the way that you would want it.
Brian, let me ask you a question as you're an experienced sim racer. Do you ever practice during practice, like making that pass even though there's nobody there? I'm thinking about Otis going into corner, into the carousel on that inside line that he wouldn't ordinarily take. Are you comfortable? Are you confident that your car's going to stick when you take a line that you haven't raced very much?
I think that there's an area. I mean, sometimes in practice you will experiment around and you will try things, even if they're by yourself. You will try and take the different lines because, especially in a place like Watkins Glen, where there's a handful really of very good passing zones. So coming into the carousel like that, like Otis poking his nose back out again, I'm sure maybe in practice once or twice, maybe he ran that top just to see, like, okay, how does it feel up here? And then maybe take a little different line there and see how that kind of feels through that corner. But with a lot of experience, on these tracks like some of these guys have, they kind of know that coming in, exactly what's going to work. They might make one little pass or try it just live in the race and see what happens, and then just add that to the notebook for later.
Well, when you make a pass on the inside, as we continue to look at this, like going into the carousel, like we saw Otis make a deal, do you actually make a conscious thought that, boy, I'm going to have to back my braking zone up just a little bit, or when you're taking a line you're not used to, or is that just by feet?
Probably a little bit of both. You try that, and if it doesn't work, you file it away from the memory banks and you go that way, or you take that little approach of going, okay, maybe if I left here instead of here, or point X versus point Y, because the whole purpose, the thing of racing is you want to straighten out every corner as possible, or take every corner really as straight as possible. So you figure out the different ways that you need to go to maneuver around to keep those apexes right and keep that right foot planted, just like Otis did coming off of turn one.
See, that's the argument I make as a back marker when people are asking me to get off the racing line. I go, the last thing you want is me off the racing line. You want me on the line I've been practicing on. Figure a way to get around me. It's going to work out better for both of us. Here he comes again.
Exactly. Now, you're the pro. You get around me, Mr. Leader. Poking it out again. Nope. Saunders sending it in a little deeper again from the outside. Gonna be dealing with a slower vehicle there, Cody Eldred. Is Eldred, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna? He's just gonna get right out of the way, going, I want none of this.
Eldred in one of those kilt-colored cars, I'm gonna call them. It's a really good paint scheme. I'm not sure what team is racing that. Oh, it's a
NLR? Or no, it's not NLR.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Finian is in.
Drive-through penalty for Finian for avoidable contact.
Our director has found it.
Well, the bent-up front wing would definitely tell a story.
I imagine that probably didn't happen from hitting a deer. Let's see. Can't recognize the car in front of him. Who does he collect? Oh, it's Jenkins, okay. Oh, that'll do it.
Oh, yep.
Oh, well, that was a big time.
That was a big boot. In case anybody at home is wondering where we're getting the updates from, we are tuned in to the, we can hear the race control channel, and we do have in-race admins. I believe tonight it is David Cordy that we've heard a couple times. So that's where we're getting these updates from drive-through penalties and everything like that. Back to the battle for second, though. Otis got a better run, but just once again, it fizzles out on the entry to the corner. Saunders takes that very high, wide, handsome line.
I'm trying my best not to use my line because I don't want to burn them up. People just complain and it's, Soup doing it again. But if he doesn't make this pass pretty soon, I'm going to the traditional line about making a pass. I'm doing it now. We got new viewers. Let's burn it here. I apologize to long-time watch. Otis right now, what he's trying to do is milk the rooster. The hard part starts after you catch it. He has caught Saunders, but he just doesn't know what to do with him.
It's like the dog chasing the car.
It is very much like that.
Except different ends of the barnyard, I think.
Well, they're coming up on another lapped car. This is George Anzaldo racing in 20th. There are 15 cars on the lead lap.
with Taft Baldwin, the last car on the lap. Oh, this is a great camera angle. As we're looking over that shoulder of Otis, you can see the little bubble mirror staring back. You can see the intensity in the virtual eyes there. George, pick a spot, buddy. Where are you going to go?
This is gonna get tricky here.
Oh, this is gonna get tricky because that's gonna hold up Saunders, and here comes Otis with a huge head of steam.
Putting the toothpaste in the jar.
3 wide, going through the middle. Saunders is no doubt going to send that in from the top lane, just like he's been using that top lane to his advantage.
He loves the top line, no doubt about it.
There's a lot of banking there to really catch the car. So, I mean, it's kind of a, I'm not going to say low risk, but, I mean, it's not like you're trying to do that at this corner. There's a little less banking, so that top is not as rewarding.
I think that explains why he's not taking that defensive line. He doesn't want to be pinned to the inside. He likes the run on the top side. This is some fun racing.
Next battle would probably be for P6, Paulson. There's 3 cars right there. Paulson, Dalton, and Gaiman.
Go to P10 real quick.
Yeah, let's jump back to 10th.
Here's these veterans. This is Lanini and Jägerleiter. Still racing in the same order we've been watching them at.
Actually, Lanini got around the Jägerleiter.
He did that lap.
Yeah,
he did indeed.
Yeah. My timing and scoring technically shows Lanini in 11th and Jägerleiter in 12th, or 10th, but on track tells me a different story. So they haven't gotten around to the front stretch there and caught up on the timing and scoring.
If you remember right, they were right behind this battle we're looking at right now. This is Paulson and Dalton and Gaiman. They fell off the pace a little bit. This battle for 6 is very good. We can watch this. I'll give you a yell if Otis makes a move on Saunders, but right now it's just more of the same.
Yeah, Paulson kind of able to stretch that out just a little bit through the back half of the circuit. Give himself a little bit of breathing room over Dalton and Gaiman as well. Solid runs, though, for all of those guys, all of those drivers.
Brian, a lot of these guys are going to be doing double duty. They're going to come back in a week and race this very same track in the IR18. Does much what you learn from one carry over to the other, or really not so much?
Not so much. You know, the Lotus has some downforce, but it's lighter on power, or at least through the acceleration side of things. You know, like on their own, the Lotus 79 going down the backstretch, you know, before the bus stop caps out at right about 160, something like that, 165 maybe with a draft. And in the IndyCar, you're almost hitting a $180 before the bus stop.
Yeah.
So just as that term of speed difference. But I mean, really, when it breaks down, the flow of the track is the same. So if there's areas that you've struggled with, you know, maybe getting around there and maybe learning a different way. Like, oh, I tried this, you know, this worked for me in the Lotus. Let's see if it works in the IndyCar. At least, you know, the corner flow and how the track flows. That's kind of the stuff that really adds up.
Let's go up to second position real quick. Otis with a bit of a run. He's closing in, but once again, Ryan is going to wait. He got a little bit of momentum as he worked around Finian DeCuna. Saunders got held up just a little bit. I think we should stay on this a bit because they're coming up on what is a good battle, first of all, for 17th. From Winchettle in a battle with Rigney. And they'll be there pretty soon.
Yeah, that's going to be the fun part, is trying to navigate through all of that, you know, and you're holding on to second place. Sage Karam, for all you Sage Karam fans out there, he is about 12 inch. Oh no, prior to the inside wall. Who was that? That was whoever Winchettle was battling with. Was that just unrelated?
Oh no, it was Rigney, but it was Winchettle who put it in the wall. We're looking at this P5-6 battle here. We'll come back and look at that in a minute.
Paulson and Dalton going through the carousel.
And now they come up behind Big Joe Hassard. There's a name we haven't mentioned. That's going to slow him down a little bit. Look at this battle. This is Paulson, Dalton, and Gaiman back there. Battle for 6th, nose to tail.
Oh, Alexander spins off of the second position. He catches the inside wall. Big problems for the guy running in second place.
Was that corner number 1? Is that where that was?
Corner number 1, the exit of corner 1. Here we go. You're going to watch
What do
the
you know?
onboard here. Gets a death wiggle coming off of this corner. And there was that Armco just waiting.
And then Saunders, we stay on this, and Zaldo gets into him as well here. Let's stay on this one. I believe I'm looking at the right thing. Stay with this. He gets rolling. I think this is Anzaldo that collects him. We'll stay with it for just a bit because I think George's day is done. There it is, right there.
Oh.
Right on board with George Anzaldo. Now this is tough. The car is there. It's just... Wow.
Huh.
That's a tough one.
That's...
Car's going slow, putting it in the middle of the road. Kind of a recipe for something bad to happen.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, only one happy by that is Lionel Kalisto as he continues to vulture more spots.
It's up to 27th now.
That's right, baby.
Yeah,
he'll be able to...
Otis was happy on that one.
He'll be able to get to Winchittle, who had that accident that we weren't able to get to. He'll probably get around Saunders and Hassard. Or no, Anzaldo. Oh, George is still racing. George is still out there.
Okay. Saunders and Winchittle both have disconnected.
All right, we're going to look at this little incident with Winchittle here. He was in this battle with Gaiman and Dalton. I believe, if I have the right, could be wrong on that. And this is his own doing. Yeah, you know what? This is farther back. It was not up front. He was in a battle with Mike Rigney, and he lost it. So Rigney was able to pick up that spot. He's coming up right here. JP saying, "Come on, guys, you don't really need to work this hard to find this replay. We got you, buddy." Nobody escapes the wrath of Amjad Yaman. Brian, all this going on behind a guy who they need to check his luggage for stolen towels because he has checked out Sage Karam 18 seconds up on Ryan Otis.
Yep, just putting him down or picking him up and laying him down lap after lap. I mean, just running. It almost feels like he's going purple or getting very close to it every single lap. Just blistering lap times.
Really, really quiet runs from the guys in 3rd and 4th. George Sandman. Looking at him, just staying out of trouble. He's looking to put a lap on Finian DeCuna here right now. He's racing for that final podium spot. We'll stay with it until he gets that done. And about 3 seconds behind him, Finian, he's coming soon, is Dustin Wardlow, the Candyman. A nice quiet run in 4th.
Yeah, Dustin's going to get up there with the Sam Maxwell Customs cam. Just a very quiet night, very Dustin-esque night. Just very quietly, just going about his business. I'm here in 4th, running the top 5 all night. And then, at the end of it, he's going to sneak away a good finish.
It has not been an easy run for the guy in 5th. Paulson, Chad Dalton. Dalton now 2 car lengths back, 1 car length back as they go in to the carousel. Oh, that's the boot, I guess. Can you get that the toe of the boot?
Good paddle right there for the last spot in the top 5.
Hey, we're going through the chute. Now they're into the toe. Here we go, Soup. Let's stay on this one a little bit to see if Chad doesn't make an attack, if not into one, then into the carousel. Joshua Gaiman back there watching on. He's up 4 positions in 7th.
And this is pretty much the closest battle that I can find on track. So nobody rack can mess this up for us, all right, guys?
Yeah, we'll stay right on here. Dalton up 6 spots. Paulson up 5.
That's all good. You know, positive on the lap or on the position tracker. You know, it's a simple philosophy. If you finish higher than you qualify, you're usually doing something right.
Now they go through the S's. Through 4, I would want Dalton to be a little closer if he's going to make an attack down into 5.
He's got a good run, though. Oh, look at that. Trying to get down to the inside and try and break the draft. And Dalton's not having anything of it. He's going to go to the top side.
Yeah, now this is interesting. Paulson obviously did not get the memo from Saunders about just staying on the outside and taking it around wide. He actually took that defensive line in there, which is what you would expect.
That's the traditional thought process, yes.
2 to go.
Smooth sailing, however, for Sage Karam out front. Another fast lap, 35-38. Goodness gracious.
We ride on board with Chad Dalton looking at the car ahead. That is James Paulson. Through 10, and now the right-hander, that is 11. That'll put you up on the main straight. Let's see if Dalton wants to do anything down into 1. I don't think so. He just needs to be close enough where he can make a legitimate attack. You're running out of laps, Chad, so you gotta... not this time. How many? You only get 2 more tries at this.
He's a lot closer than he was the last time, though. Only about 2 car lengths worth of separation there.
Yeah, a little closer than last time as they come out of the S's. Let's see what type of line Brian Paulson takes this time. He's taking and weaving over.
He's trying to weave over and try and break the draft and try and take the defensive line, but Dalton's not having any of it again. Here he is from the top side. Dalton around on the outside. You boys keep it together. Paulson just keeps it straight. Little bit of wiggle.
Oh, my goodness, that was good. All right. Remember this guy? He is Sage Karam. Right now, he's negotiating those around Chris Walker. Walker goes a lap down, leaving only 10 on the lead lap. Sage Karam started on pole. This is what you call wire to wire, even during pit stops. Did not lose the lead.
Always a good day when that one happens. Oh, the proverbial Grand Slam. I like that one.
When you're talking Grand Slam, what do you mean?
You mean pole, fastest lap, win the race, and fastest in practice.
Seems only fair that that guy should get the win. Coming out of the final corner. Heading across the line, let's give round number 2 to Sage Karam.
Just an outstanding run from Sage.
just for good measure.
Just for good measure, just to make sure that he knew, or that we all knew that he won. Last lap of the race, fastest one.
We're going to look for these guys. These are battling. They are a lap down. Then we'll tune back in on this battle for 5th place as they come around. This is a battle
versus George.
between Decuna and Anzaldo.
I think providing Finian can get through these last 2 corners fine, he shouldn't be under any kind of fire or any kind of pressure.
And there you have it. Let's jump back into Chad Dalton after he was able to get around James Paulson. Just has 2 more corners to go, and he's going to pick up a top 5.
Not a bad way to keep the season going.
Final corner, final cars finishing up their lead lap finish. Chad Dalton, Paulson gets 6. Other drivers we expect to come in, Joshua Gaiman, David Clymer, Jaegerliner, Travis Jaegerliner, and Lanini. Is that thing sorted out? Yeah, Jaegerliner is ahead. He comes home in 9th. Lanini, the last car on the lead lap. All right, the racing is over here at the Glen, but our broadcast is far from done. We'll take a short break, but then we'll come back to run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock in the gate. Don't go far. You're watching GSRC on IESN.
The Sim Pit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The Sim Pit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for The Sim Pit.
Welcome back to the Sam Maxwell Custom Miami 2. That's not the right plug. We are the, let me give you the actual name of the right one here. We are the, let's try this one more time. Take 2. Welcome back to the Sim Experience Grand Prix from Watkins Glen. That's very important. But one thing that is always the same is that we are at the Plasma Tracks Victory Lane show. Now, if you're looking like me for something for the guy who has everything, I've got it for you. Plasma-Tracks.com not only produces the original racetrack wall art, motorsports trophies, home decor, and motorsports fabrications are also available. Words cannot do justice to the Words cannot do justice to the uniqueness of their wares in English. The only way to fully appreciate their artwork is to see it for yourself. But be warned, one visit and the next thing you know, you'll want a Plasma Track wall art hanging on your home as well. See it all at plasma-tracks.com. Use the promo code LRS2019 to get 25% off your order. All right, now let's give you 100% off of the finishing order here. Sage Karam goes wire to wire for the win. Ryan Otis is going to get second. George Sandman starts fourth, comes home in the final podium spot. A quiet run from the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow in fourth. Chad Dalton gets the best of James Paulson and Joshua Gaiman as they go fifth, sixth, and seventh. Eighth goes to David Clymer. Travis Jagerliner in ninth, and rounding out your top 10, Chris Lanini.
In 11th, Chris Walker with Paul Jenkins, Frank Beeser, Teff Baldwin. 12th, 13th, 14th. 15th to Ryan Cones, Mike Rigney. You got me messed up here.
Come on, pay attention.
Rigney in 16th. Finian Ducana in the 17th spot with series founder George Anzaldo in 18th. 19th going to Cody Eldred and Eric Block rounding out the top 20.
All right, let's go to 21st position. I just realized why. I pulled up the wrong script. That's why all the names were wrong. Adam Young is in 21st position. Big Joe Hazard after him. Robert Bloom and Ken Hacker go 23rd and 24th. Lionel Kalisto just keeps swimming. Well, he's going to get the quarter century mark ahead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 other drivers. Alex Saunders gets 26. JP Winchell in the 27th spot. Dean Mole and James Kirby after that. Richie Hearn, Mark Cohn, Eric Mickey, Dylan McKenna, and David Altman round out your 34-car field. Okay, with that out of the way, and I have no more reading to do, I get to do an interview. Sage Karam, wire to wire, congratulations. Was it as easy as it looked?
No, I mean, this car is like never easy to drive, even, just any practice laps you're doing. It's a very difficult car. It's got a lot of horsepower and stuff, and that actually caught me out a little bit on the start. I wanted to go at like middle of the apex of that corner, and got on the throttle and nearly lost it. I got real loose with wheel spin, so I knew right then and there I was going to be in trouble going up the hill. And Otis had a really good run on me, and the draft in these things was so huge, especially with the headwind. And I was just I had to do some quick thinking because I didn't really go through this in my head before the race, and my thought was that I could get a good enough jump and I wouldn't have to worry about Otis going up the hill. And so my thinking was just kind of lift on the uphill and let him pass me, and hopefully I could tuck back in and draft back alongside him by the corner, and it worked perfectly. And then from there I had to save fuel the first stint just to make sure I could make it to halfway, and it was really tight on fuel actually with the warm-up lap and everything. So I saved a lot of fuel the first stint, and then the second stint, I saved enough in the first where I could just run flat out, and then I was able just to pretty much run qualifying times. I feel like in this car for me, it was easier to just run 110% than rather try and run 90 and saving fuel. It's just like when you're in that groove, it's sometimes when you get out of it or you don't push as hard, that's actually when mistakes are made. So no, I felt comfortable. It was a perfect race for me, got the pole, fast lap, most laps led, and had 0 incident points. So I need to keep doing that and keep doing more of those. And, it would be a good season, but, I know not every night's going to be like this. So you got to take these nights and enjoy them.
All right, I'm going to give you a little advice on something I know about here. Now, I know probably being a race car driver gets you a little cachet with the women, but trust me on this one. You think the saying, hey, I raced at Indianapolis 500 gets you some attention. Wait till you tell them that you are a Lionheart Retro Series champion. Boy, you better be prepared you better save up your coupons for Outback Steakhouse, because you'll be going out a lot of dinners.
Well, thankfully I have a girlfriend, and she doesn't she doesn't need the whole luxurious Outback steakhouse dinners. No, I'm just kidding. But no, she's I've been dating her now for over a year, and she's a real good girl, and she watches all my sim races too, and loves them, supports it. So she's in the other room watching this, so got to give a shout out to her for not dragging me out of here when I'm in here for hours a day and not giving her all the attention.
What's her name?
Her name's Abby.
All right, Abby, thanks for letting him race with us. He got the win. All right, good luck, Sage. Good way to go.
Yep, thanks. I just got to thank you guys. First medical equipment, sim experience, buck kicker, SMC, Kawanda. Everybody who's a part of it. Just big thanks to everybody.
You got it. Thanks a lot, Sage Karam, your race winner today. Brian, Abby's listening to me. I got to make sure I treat her boyfriend well. So good job, Sage.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not talking about the IndyCar drivers. Be good with. I mean,
oh boy,
we let you go on that one. There you go, Soup. All right, hi Ryan, how are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
Not doing too bad. Hey, you got a great run off at the start. We were listening to Sage in his interview. He got a little bobbled up on the start, and then that big run up through the S's. You had the lead at the start of the backstretch, and then lost it into the carousel. Obviously, that didn't go to plan.
No, I didn't think I was going to get that good of a run off the start, so I was a little bit surprised. And I knew, at least if I had the lead going into the carousel, that it's really easy to defend from the outside because you can just go in flat. But I didn't quite have the confidence on cold tires at the start, and so I lifted a little early, and he had already had a wheel in on me, and so I just let him go.
Copy that. And then pit stops. We came around to that cycle, and you had to play the 3-point turn there.
Well, I had stopped a little bit too far left. Really, I thought, what would make this race more exciting? How about Blocker gets by me on the pit stop, so then we can have a good battle. So I'd like to say I did that on purpose, but actually I just messed up the pit stop.
All right, hey, whatever you got to take. And then you and Saunders were having a fantastic battle throughout that. Unfortunately, that kind of ended it worked out good for you. It didn't work out so good for Saunders. We kept seeing you after you get that big run down the backstretch, and you kept going to the inside. Was that Saunders looked like you could defend from the top? Were you just kind of conceding that corner a little bit, doing a little bit of managing behind the wheel, or were you just getting bested there every single time?
So from practice races, I knew that it was really easy to defend from the outside because you can just roll in the corner flat, and the guy on the inside has to lift unless he wants to hit you. And I certainly wasn't going to come together with Saunders. I already done that once, so I don't want to do that again. I would have preferred if he exited the S's a little shallow and let me take the outside, but I think he's a lot more wily than that, so he wasn't going to let me have the outside, and I know that he knew that the outside is really the place you want to be going in there because it's so easy to just roll in flat and force the guy underneath you to lift.
Sounds good. Solid run though in second place. We got Sebring up next. How you feel about that place?
Oh, I love Sebring. It's a fun track, and I like this place too. But man, I didn't have anything for Sage. I was a couple tenths off him pretty much all week, so he just went out there and put the smack down. Did a little bit of fuel save, but it's it kind of drops you out of your rhythm, and then you just sort of lose it. And I'm looking forward to Sebring. I think it'll be fun.
Sounds good. We'll catch up with you there in a couple weeks' time, Ryan.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. So from there, we're going to go and, that's someone already pulled it out. You guys are quick on this side of things. Soup, talk to the Sandman.
George, first of all, how you feeling?
Oh, I'm a little tired, but feeling really good. At least I got through the race without crashing.
You consider yourself more of a road racer, at least I do from my experience of watching you, than you do on the ovals?
Yeah, I don't have much experience on ovals, although the couple that I've done seemed really excited afterwards. I was looking forward to the next one, so I think you'll see me do a few more.
Any issues out there? You had a nice. We talked about you and Dustin Wardlow in fourth position. Had pretty much quiet runs in your spot.
Yeah, once Ryan and Sage checked out and Alex had a problem, I just kind of maintained that gap between me and him behind me, and just tried to make no mistakes, get to the finish line.
The big question we have in this series is always, what do drivers do with tires? Did you change tires during your stop?
No, sir.
No. Okay. That seems to be the way that people are going. The car feels as good, if not better, on old rubber, right?
Well, at least those first couple laps on new tires, it seems so slow.
Well, it was great to see you back here racing. You going to be able to do full time? You going to make a full assault on this one?
I'm sure going to try.
All right. Great to have you racing with us, George. George, the Sandman, comes in the final podium spot. Congratulations. All right. With that said, it's over to Brian. You got somebody?
Yeah, we got kind of a unique one here. Travis, we got you pulled up here in the booth. And it's kind of a promotional thing because we've talked about some of our sponsored products and stuff like that. I'm just going to let you have the floor there, Travis.
All right, great. Well, hey, thanks, guys. I just first off, I want to thank the guys at Sim Experience, Bernie Villers, Pat Dotson, Darren Ganji, all the support staff. I was lucky enough to get early access to the GS5 seat, and I've been running it for a couple months now, and it's just it's brought a whole new level of immersion to iRacing for me. I've been a longtime VR user, so I'm constantly looking for that next step into immersive racing, and it's just it's really stepped it up a level. If you can imagine, hitting the brakes and feeling the G forces, or for example, Watkins Glen, the first two or three corners going uphill and feeling that all through the seat. I can't really accurately describe it or do it justice. So thanks to the guys, and I really enjoyed running it.
Travis, help me understand what it actually is. Are there sensors in the seats or vibrators in the seats, or does it tilt? What actually does it do?
Sure. So there's actually 4 panels. There's 2 below your 2 in the bottom half of the seat and 2 in the back panels, and they are connected to very strong stepper motors, and the panels push against your body. And I've actually bought a harness to kind of help hold in place and really help feel the forces. And I mean, as you hit the brakes, the panels push against your body and force you to go forward. So it really feels like you feel the straps grab your body, and it really feels like you're being pulled with gravity. And same thing when going through a turn. They'll either shift left to right, right to left, depending on the corner. And I mean, you can imagine Spa going through Eau Rouge in a high downforce car. It's just it's a pretty amazing experience.
So does it come with a frame, or do you mount it on a stand you might already have?
No, it looks just like a normal seat. It's actually the base of the seat is it's a Kirko seat that you would throw in any racing race. So it fits pretty much anywhere. I have a P1 chassis, and I was able to bolt it right on. There's really not much additional hardware that's sticking out. You can kind of see the back panels where the motors are, but there's a nice carbon fiber overlay, and I mean, it looks really nice. You wouldn't be able to tell it's any different by looking at it.
Well, I'm whetting my appetite. So thanks for letting us know about that. Is that offered to the winners?
Good question. I'm not sure. I think the AccuForce wheel is actually the prize for But hey, you're welcome to come on over and try it anytime. So just let me know when you guys want to come over. So.
All right. Well, they can certainly check it out at the website there where they go for that. Correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, Sim Experience. The guys there are all great to work with. They'll hook you up. So.
Fantastic. Hey, before I let you, I stole Brian's interview. Sorry, Brian. You had a nice little battle going on with Lanini for most of the race.
Oh man, that was one of the best races. I mean, just the most enjoyable races. I've always enjoyed racing with Chris. He's a very fair racer, but man, we were going back and forth. I really wanted that top 10, and I didn't. He was faster than me. He was gaining on me, but it was an intense couple laps. I really enjoyed it. That was a fun one.
All right, always fun to watch a race. Congratulations on getting to the end. We'll see you down the road.
Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
Talk about getting to the end. We are at the end right now. Let's go ahead and thank some of our other sponsors. How about Butt Kicker? They produce a product that adds instant immersion to any game, unlike a subwoofer that moves actual air and loses accuracy and force. Butt Kicker products they move actual mass, producing haptic immersion that's powerful and accurate. Butt Kicker's products add that missing car-to-driver connection, bringing more realism and immersion to your sessions. See all the family of products at The Butt Kicker. You got to use the article, thebuttkicker.com. Use the promotion code LION25 to get 25% off your order. My goodness, I got another one. It's the Sim Experience. We just talked about it. The makers of the AccuForce Pro V2 Complete, the premier professional racing simulation steering system. And that's going to be the prize for these drivers coming up. The key to the AccuForce Pro's incredible realism is the groundbreaking direct drive motor control system, providing a driving experience that, when combined with today's best racing simulators, is as close as you can get to driving the real thing. For more information on the entire Sim Experience ecosystem, including the Sim Vibe software, 3DOF Stage Series Motion, and GS-5 G4 Seat, which we just talked about, visit simexperience.com. I'm done. Now we give it to Brian.
And any of the other sponsors that you see on screen right now, First Medical Equipment, Butt Kicker, Plasma Tracks, Clipping That Apex, Sim Pit. I mean, all of the people that help, move the motion and get the gears spinning this season. LionheartRacingSeries.com. Click on 2019 sponsors. Get to the bottom, and you can see the company logos, and you can see exactly what each product will get to you.
You're looking at some of the equipment and software that we use to string cyberspace into your place. The original music that lets your ears alert your eyes. You're watching a GSRC production. Well, that's courtesy of June Lalonde. See the screen to have to contact her. And now it's Brian.
the retro series. We come back in a couple weeks. Here we got a little bit of a break. April 18th for the Plasma Tracks Grand Prix of Sebring. That's going to be a great race. Next broadcast on IESN is the West End Mazda Australian Online Supercar Championship from Moran Park. That's going to be SimSpeed's coverage is Friday, March 22nd at 6:45 a.m. Eastern.
Sliding across your screen now are just some of the upcoming broadcasts, so check them out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram as GSRC_Graham. And if you haven't done so yet, go on over to our YouTube page and become a subscriber. Finally, on behalf of the man whose voice you just heard, that would be Brian Yasek, and Amjad Yaman, our director, Dougie Beard for his cameras. I'd like to thank all of you for watching as we saw Sage Karen pick up his first win of the season here at the Glen in the Sim Experience Grand Prix at the Glen. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.